Hey, what's up guys? My name is Michael Westbrook. As always, thank you for checking out this video. I recently got a new shipment from Vintage King. My buddy Kevin over there sends me a box of goodies from time to time to check out, and a couple of pedals really caught my ear. It's these from Union Tube and Transistor. Here we have the Swindle, which is kind of a distortion fuzz type pedal, and then the Sub Buzz, which is a overdrive pedal for bass that has a blend knob on it. Both of these pedals sound incredible. They look super cool too. I love the look of these. And today we're going to take a listen to them and check them out. I also want to use these as a jumping off point for a couple of ideas. One, using a distortion or fuzz pedal to boost an already overdriven amp to really add some cool harmonic content, and then also parallel processing on bass. Both of these pedals do a great job at these concepts, and so I thought it'd be cool to talk about them in this video. All right, let's get into it. One thing that I really love about these pedals is how simple they are. Both of them only have two knobs. On the Swindle, it's an input gain and an output gain. There's no tone control. And in the case of these pedals, it's great. They work just how you want them to, and they sound fantastic. I've definitely played pedals without tone knobs where I really wish that it had one so I could dial in the tone a little better. Union has done a great job on the Swindle getting the balance just right and super easy to dial in. I really love the vintagey kind of unique character that it gives, especially when I'm using it to boost an already overdriven sound. On the initial demo on the Telly, you heard the Swindle in action. It's plugged right into my 5E3 or Tweed Deluxe copy from Trinity Amps. There was something about this sound that was just kind of magical. There was some harmonic content. Just the interaction between those two really had something special to it. The amp was already overdriven some, and I used the Swindle to boost it even more. And it was super easy to get. It was one of those sounds that just kind of happened, but really had some magic to it. I think this really demonstrates this idea of hitting an already overdriven amp with a distortion or fuzz or even overdrive. There's some kind of magic that happens in the interaction of those that can be really special. And it's one reason why I really prefer using those to boost an amp rather than just a straight ahead clean boost. It can take some experimenting, but when you find the right pair, it can sound really great. I find that overdriving an amp and using these types of pedals to give you a little more is where the magic happens. It's not quite the same if the amp is clean and you're using overdrive pedals. I found that some distortion and overdrive pedals don't really sound that great into a clean amp. They almost need the amp to be overdriving a little bit, just so that those kind of the character of both of them melds together and creates this kind of unique flavor. This can also be the case for fuzz pedals. They need an amp that's already overdriven overdriven, they're a little more forgiving in that way. When the amp is overdriven and it's saturating and distorting, then when the fuzz hits that, it almost softens the blow a bit. And it can just create this really cool texture of amp overdrive and fuzz character all mixed into one. If you haven't done a lot of experimenting with these kind of sounds, I definitely encourage you to do so. You know, I know it's really popular nowadays to use an amp that's set pretty clean and stack overdrives. And that's what I've done for years and years. And more lately, though, I have been overdriving my amps and seeing how pedals pair with those. And again, when it's right, and you can get some really great sounds. The Sub Buzz is a great bass distortion pedal with one unique control, a blend knob. This basically allows us to blend in a distorted signal with our dry bass signal. This is something that people have been doing in the studio for years and years, recording a bass DI and then having maybe a amp sound or a more distorted sound that's blended in with it to give more definition, give us more upper harmonics and more clarity in the overall bass sound. The controls are super simple on this one. We basically have our volume knob and then that blend control. We don't have any way to affect the amount of gain that we have with the distorted signal or a tone knob. In some ways, I do wish that we had a little more control over the distorted sound, but it works and it sounds great. Whether you're using this pedal or something else, the ability to blend in an overdrive signal with your dry bass signal is super helpful and can give you some really cool sounds. If you're an HX Stomp user, I talk about this in a bass video with the HX Stomp where I show you how to set up kind of a blended overdrive sound with your bass. I find that to be super helpful to get that kind of tone that gives you a lot of clarity with your bass sound while maintaining that rich low end. There are also ways to do this inside your DAW. I'm not going to go into the details of that today, but definitely something to look into if you're looking for a bass sound that really cuts through, that can be heard a little more. You get a little more definition in the actual notes while maintaining your low end. That's going to do it for this one. Again, huge thank you to Kevin over at Vintage King for sending me some gear. That has been super helpful for me. It gives me stuff to check out and try, but it also gives me stuff to make videos on for you guys. So it's a win all the way around. If you're looking for any studio gear or guitar gear, definitely check them out. They carry tons of great stuff and can help you find what you're looking for. All right, until next time, I'll see you out there.